Welcome to another episode of Game Time, presented this week by Newsenda Credit Union. I'm JP Murrieta, and this week we're at Manzano High School, home of the Monarchs and their football team, their very loud, boisterous, energetic football team, and head coach Coach Johnston. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Let's dive right into this season. You guys are 5-1 on the year, 2-0 in district. You've already won more games this year than the last 4 combined.
Yeah.
Maybe a surprise to a lot of other people out there. Has it been a surprise to you the way this year's gone?
It has not been a surprise. I think it's been in our preparation of the process of where we've been the last 4 years, and at least this group of guys have taken what we're trying to do and really have adapted it and done a really good job with it.
You've won 5 in a row. What have you been able to do to carry that momentum from one week to the next?
I think we've just really focused on the process of getting better each week, and I think as we've gotten better each week, the success has come.
You're coming off of a bye week, so it kind of comes at a good time during the season. What did you accomplish during this bye week?
Well, we had 3 goals for our bye week. Number 1, we just wanted to make sure we got better, and 2, we wanted to heal up. And just from the 6 games in the season, you start to get a little banged up and bruised. And then the third thing is we wanted to make sure our grades are right where they needed to be. And I think we accomplished all 3 things in our bye week. All
good 3 things. I'm going to add a 4th. Prepare for Albuquerque Academy,
absolutely.
Your next opponent. Now that you've turned the page, how do you match up with the Chargers, and what are you looking forward to in that game with them?
Well, we look, as we've worked over the last couple of weeks on them. We know they're a good team. We know that they pose a good threat. They've got athletes in a lot of different positions, and we're going to have to play our best game of the year to do real well against them.
Let's talk about some of these guys, starting with your quarterback, James Vautier. We know he's capable of throwing 6 touchdown passes in a game like he did against Hope Christian. What kind of athlete is he out there, and what does he do well?
I think James does a good job of running our offense and staying within himself, and then also he's got the guys around him that makes him just as successful.
How else have you been able to pick up those 5 wins in different phases of the game with special teams and defense as well as your offense? Who else is kind of standing out?
I think that's what we've tried to accomplish is we all 3 phases are extremely important, especially that kicking game piece. And if you ever watch us on film, we spend a lot of time on our kicking game that we don't think that other folks do. And so you can tell, not just any one guy, but all 3 phases of the game have gotten better each week.
You moved down a classification. It's obviously helped you compete more equitable against the competition. From your perspective, from a coaching perspective, how has that move helped you?
I think that success is positive, and no matter what classification that you're in, if you're able to have some success early, then I think that it gives your program momentum going forward, and whether that's in this class or the next class or whatever they put us in, having success just makes you feel a little bit better, and it also is attractive to other people.
As a head coach, you came from a program down in Artesia, pretty successful. What did you take from the success from down south in Artesia and carried over and made kind of your own here at Manzano?
It's about the process of of becoming a good team, and we always have. We came a lot of the same things, a lot of the same goals that we had in Artesia. We were able to bring here, and a lot of it is we only have 2 goals, JP, and they're really simple. They're not complex. And first goal is it's a short-term goal of win a state championship. And so the little things that we do on a daily basis, especially this time of year, are working towards that goal. And then our second goal is our long-term goal of becoming a better man. And so what we do is we focus on our character because we want to be the right people. And then as we focus on becoming the right people, we know that we're going to be the right team at the end of the year.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've been doing things right so far.
Thank you very much.
Great goals. Congratulations on the year so far.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back with more Game Time after this. Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, 1 night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks, and athletes who drink or do drugs are twice as likely to get injured. Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Are you living the life of an athlete? Log on to the website to find out today.
Hi, my name is Ricky Scroggins from Manzano High School. Welcome back to Game Time.
Welcome back to Game Time, presented this week by Newsenda Credit Union. As a regular viewer of Game Time, I'm sure you know that each week we like to look back on some of the top plays and highlights in high school football. So, here's a look at some of the fantastic finishes in overtime last week. Cleveland wasted no time with Farmington on their storm coming last week. Quarterback Jordan Hatch threw for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns in just one half of football as Cleveland shut out the Scorpions 50-0. The 5-1 Storm faced Cibola this week. Bernalillo quarterback Uriel Castro put up some big numbers against Kirtland Central. Castro threw for 341 yards and 7 touchdowns in their 54-0 win. The Spartans remain unbeaten, and they are at Aztec this week. Los Lunas beat Albuquerque High at home 28-7. Los Lunas is on a 4-game win streak. The Tigers have a showdown with number 1 unbeaten defending state champ La Cueva this week. Rio Rancho jumped out to an early 2-touchdown lead against Cibola and went on to win 28-0. The Rams are 4-2 and will host Piedra Vista this week. Del Norte picked up their first win of the year, beating Rio Grande 21-19. Xavier Lynn Choice had a pair of touchdown catches in the win. The Knights will celebrate their victory with a bye this week. In a high-scoring affair down south, Mayfield beat Lovington in overtime 50-49. Mayfield's defense came up big with an overtime stop on a 2-point conversion. The Trojans are 2-2 in district play going into their bye week. Centennial put up a 60 spot in beating Alamogordo 61-35. Hawks quarterback Zayden Davis rushed for 4 scores and threw another 3 TD tosses. The Hawks remain unbeaten and host Hobbs this week. Los Alamos went on the road and scored a touchdown in the final 30 seconds to beat Belen 36-34. Jordan Herrera had 231 yards on the ground. The Hilltoppers are 4-0 in district play. Valencia running back Michael Storms rushed for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns against Chaparral. The 5th score was the game winner in overtime, 52-44. Valencia is 5-2 on the year and on a bye before meeting Manzano. Speaking of overtime, Oregon Mountain beat Carlsbad in OT 41-40 for the Knights' first road win in a couple years. Oregon Mountain will try to make it 2 in a row this week at Clovis. Legacy Academy remains unbeaten after a 34-0 win over Raton. The Silverbacks scored 3 touchdowns in the final 4 minutes of the first half. Legacy Academy is 6-0 on the season and at Capitan this week. Miyamura scored 35 points or more for the 2nd straight week. The Patriots beat Highland 36-31. The Gallup School is now 4-3 on the year and heading into a bye week before their game against Capital.
I'm Easton Alderetti from Manzano High School. Check out the latest football polls.
I'm Isaac Placencia from Manzano High School, and we'll be back with more Game Time after this.
At Jiffy Lube, we car about cars. In fact, we're kind of obsessed. It's why we've been taking car business with quick quality service for over 40 years.
Are you saying car?
That's right, Claire. And with things like our Carful Vehicle Review, where our experts check, fill, inspect, and clean your vehicle, you'll know we'll car for your car like we car for our own. Some people think it's just an oil change. Who cars? We do. We car.
You mean care?
Exactly. Jiffy Lube. Car more.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail. Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials across the country because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back to Game Time, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. You know, when you think about dominant high school athletic programs in New Mexico, you think about Artesia football, you maybe think about Albuquerque Academy boys tennis, and Zuni boys cross country. That's right, they've won 23 state championships as a team, tied with Los Alamos for the most in state history. They have lifted the blue trophy every year they've competed since 2018. They didn't compete in 2020 during the COVID season. And how's this for a stat? Since 1997, Zuni has finished top 3 every year they've competed. Here's a conversation I had with Zuni cross-country coach Chris Carroll about the success of their program. One more state championship on the boys' side would put you guys alone as the most winningest boys cross-country program in the entire state. Is that something that means something to you and the school and the community?
I don't think people realize that we're that close to what we have accomplished over the years. I don't think people see it. I know that I look at the overall wins between boys and girls combined. I have us at 33 wins, and I thought that was leading the state until I counted Los Alamos's, and I was wrong, since they're at 36. But I think overall, I mean, it's a feather in the cap of the community. I think it's something that we could really hold our heads up high on. But again, it's not something I haven't brought up to our student athletes at all. You know, we look at one day at a time. We've talked about state once this year, and that's it. You know, there's no reason. I don't want to be that coach that dwells on it week in and week out. You know, it's all about us becoming a team. It's all about us becoming a family and working hard and being there every day.
Why is running so popular in your community?
I think there's a history of running. You know, you go back into the 1800s, 1700s, you know, I mean, that was the only way they moved from community to community was by running. You know, back in the 30s, they used to do what was called stick racing. And what stick racing is that they had these sticks that had like feathers on them and little, you know, ornaments on them, and they would flip it with their foot out in front of them, run up to it, flick it with their foot, run up to it, and they'd run a marathon doing that. And there would be big bets in the village. They would be betting on which runner would win. I mean, stick racing to me is part of the history of the Zuni culture. But Zuni in general, they're just gifted runners. You know, we had a year that football took a dive and the coach kind of chased everybody off. So I picked up 3 football players and won a state championship. I mean, that's what they're built for.
You've been so successful over the years, couple decades now, you with the program. Is it still a successful season if at the end of the year you're not lifting the blue trophy?
Oh, it's a successful season. Anything we can do to promote, you know, positivity within our sport, you know, yeah, you know, year in and year out, lifting that blue trophy has been, it's surreal. But if this year Santa Fe Indian or Cottonwood or someone else comes along and takes that away from us, you know what? We hold our heads up high, because I think it's important that, you know, there's another streak that we're on that a lot of people don't realize. But since 1997, we have taken a trophy of some color home from the state championship. I find that to be even more important, you know, to have that. I don't care if it's red, green, or blue. What matters is that Zuni takes a state trophy every year.
And what motivates you after all this time and being so involved with the kids and the program and the school?
I think that what motivates me is just the kids themselves. You know, that's why we're in this position or this job, is that we're doing it for the kids. You know, I sacrifice my time for them. Anything they need, I'm here for them, whether it's on or off the course.
At a cross-country meet a couple weeks ago at Zuni High School, the top 20 finishers of each race won a loaf of homemade oven bread. Really a nice personal touch from the community to share fellowship and part of their culture. That's going to do it for another episode of Game Time, presented this week by New Senda Credit Union. Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in next week because you never know where we're going to be or who we're going to talk to, but you do know the place to find the most high school highlights is right here. We'll see you next time on Game Time.